sure it's usually it should work pretty good. Uploading. Perfect. Yeah, so if I cut out or audio is weird or if camera is weird, don't worry about it. Just kind of keep talking through it. If it's literally like really bad, then, you can just let me know. But I think we're going to be fine. Your internet looks solid. Mine is too.
Let's go. I have been having
Okay.
internet problems though. I don't know what's going on, but we should be good. We'll be
You know
good.
what is crazy is same here. And the last night, my internet kept dumping on me. And so I got an Ethernet cable and plugged it in. And for whatever reason, like right after my first podcast, we were just like kind of shooting the shit after we were done recording, and it dropped the call. But
Hmm.
luckily, I haven't had any issues since. That was at like
With the
9 o'clock.
Ethernet too? That's terrible.
I know. Well, I've got Starlink, but then I got that plugged in, hard cabled in to my system because we only have Spectrum, and it's terrible out here. So
Hmm.
I've got Starlink that I'm running on.
Are you in Santa Cruz?
Yeah,
Nice.
kind of Corlitas, which is like we're in the mountains a little bit, 10 minutes from the beach.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, all right, let's dive into this. All right, you ready to go?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Trades Talk. I'm your host today, Justin White, and we are diving into a disruptor in the industry. I'm here with Derek Clelan with Your Haven Landscape Designs. Derek, welcome to the podcast.
Let's go, man. It's a pleasure. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I've been looking forward to this, so excited to just kind of chat.
Me too, man. I've been looking forward to having you on. Actually, it's kind of interesting. We've been working with Your Haven and your team here at K&D Landscaping for a good time now, coming up
Yeah.
on probably like a year.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a chance to like really sit down and chop game up and talk about things. And so, for the listeners, what I think is interesting to note is like this is the first time you and I are really connecting beyond, an email here or there.
Yeah.
And figured why not just go live and let everyone listen to it.
Did you know what's cool about that, honestly, is I actually just took my first ever kind of sabbatical week break from the company, really since like the last 7, 8 years since I've really started on this entrepreneurship journey. And the reason why I brought that up is because I thought it was so cool how, I thought it was wild. I've never worked with anybody where I didn't meet the owner of the business and they didn't give the okay. So I thought it was really cool and awesome how you've delegated so far to like Jeremy, to Liz, to your team to be able to make that decision to say, hey, okay, let's work with them. Because obviously like it's not like a $100 expense, right? Like we're working together on a high level together. So
Yeah.
kudos to you, man. I mean, you've built an amazing business.
I really appreciate that. And it is unique. And oftentimes I have this feeling of guilt that I am not there with the team helping to make decisions every day. But
Hmm.
I've embraced a leadership tactic I got from Jocko Willink in Extreme Ownership, the book Extreme Ownership. It's called decentralized decision making. And like it comes from like for him, when your troops are on the front lines and they're getting attacked by the enemy and they have to change the plan that was drawn up in the boardroom the day before or the week before, they've got to be able to change that plan in the moment and react to the enemy and react to what's going on in the field. And that's what I've tried to create at K&D, an environment where frontline team members, crew leaders can make decisions every single day for the betterment of the company based on our core values and our fundamentals. And what it's allowed us to do is to make really big decisions that don't have to involve me. And when you
Hmm.
can do that, the benefit, I think, is you have a team that's 100% bought in because it's their decisions. They created the decision, they created the environment that they're in, and they're going to ultimately make that either successful or they're going to learn from the failure and then be that much better for it. So I appreciate you noting that. That's it's a unique thing, and honestly, most days I have more guilt than
Yeah.
pride around that concept, which is kind of interesting when I really think
No,
about
dude,
it.
I totally understand. I feel like a lot of people would understand too, business owners in your shoes. I spent the week in Montana with our CFO, and it was just me and him, and we had a great time. And like I said, it was the first week where I've got to kind of go away and look at things from a broader perspective,
Yeah.
and not being in the monotony of the day to day, like, oh, I got to text this person, or I got to handle this, or I got to talk to this guy. I really got to see things for really what it is and where we're going, and it was a blessing, man. I feel similar probably how you feel. I feel like my team is so bought in. We're incredibly motivated. Most of us are training for a marathon right now. It's such a, I love how you said fight the enemy. That's sick. I like that. I'm gonna take that back. It is, man. It's like going to war every single day. And as long as we lean on each other and we're taking care of what we need to take care of outside of work, health, I love training because I think it's really important. Being with your family, being present, you could be the best person here at work too. So, yeah, man, I love the culture you've built and what you're doing. It's awesome.
I appreciate that, man. And I think what you said there about disconnecting, getting some distance from the company so you can look at it from a different perspective is so important that we kind of forget about. And so in the last 5 days, I've gone through the full emotional roller coaster of a business owner. I've gone from what am I doing? Should I even be the CEO of this company? Is it time to start looking for a successor? To, oh my God, I can't believe I'm so grateful and honored to be in this role. And I can't wait to take it to hopefully $1 billion in revenue is our ultimate goal in 10 years. And so it's like, and then I'm like, yeah, for sure. I'm the guy. And I've gone through all those emotions in 5 days. And I'm sure as you stepped away, I mean, what were some of your big takeaways last week as you got some perspective on the business?
Yeah, man, I was definitely like a little nervous, but honestly, and I try to be very humble. I am very humble. I love my team. I think what the people we have on the team, that's the difference maker. So like what you're saying, like, oh man, should I even be this guy? They look at you and they know you're the guy, right? They
Yeah.
know you're the guy that's going to get them there. So that's who I try to be. And I think the delegation too is like, if you have the right people on the team and you allow them to take extreme ownership in their role, and then me as the owner focus on building the vision and creating motivation and inspiration, just coming with the energy every day, getting them excited, I know they're going to go crush it. So maybe it was a little bit skewed last week, but I think everyone was so excited to go hard and
Yeah.
and kind of show that they can do this without me, a little bit. Not like that, but like, hey, we want to go really hard while Derek's gone. Like our sales was awesome. Just a little plug for our team. We submitted 155 designs in the month of September, which is insane. And
Wow.
so we had a huge finishing week last week while I was gone, and yeah, dude, it was amazing. So a lot. It was a blessing being able to kind of step back and say, hey, are we going to grow or are we going to kind of come down? And we grew, and I think that was a confirmation of that we're really doing the right things, and that we just need to keep the foot on the gas. And I'm blessed for the people that we have because without them, like I wouldn't have been able to do that. And that's what
100%.
I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a business that I read a book a couple of years ago called Built to Sell. And not that I necessarily want to sell the business, it's more about building it in a way so that it can grow without you no matter what. And I think whether it's without you or not, it's just the way that we structure the business is so that it's bigger than one person,
Absolutely.
and that's the goal. So yeah, it was good.
That's a great book.
It
I
is. Yeah.
I totally think everyone should start with the exit in mind and build a business that is always exit ready.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean you. Some people are like, oh, I want to run my business and be able to put my wife's car's lease on the business or whatever else. And it's like,
Hmm.
the benefits and the pros and the cons. I think at the end of the day, you run a business that's always exit ready. You run a business that I heard this is a quote from a speaker I heard. He says, you want to build a business that everyone wants to buy and you don't want to sell.
Yeah.
That is the fucking perfect place to be
I
in
love it.
in business. Derek, all right, before we get too far down this road, I want to get a little bit of background on who you are, what your
Yeah.
business does. It's so unique. A lot of people are probably thinking you're just like a landscape contractor on here, and I think it's important to unpack a little bit about your backstory and then what your business does today and the
Yeah.
solutions that you've created. So, wherever you want to start with, I know you've gone through some pretty, crazy things early in life financially.
Mhm.
I mean, however much you want to share there and go into that, I'll let you
Yeah.
kind of take it away.
Yeah. We'll share it all, man. I mean, whenever people ask me where I'm from, I always say I was born in Lake Tahoe and raised in Vegas. And I kind of went back and forth between South Lake Tahoe, California, and Las Vegas. And the only reason why I share that is because I think it gave me two great perspectives about life. Vegas is very fast-paced, competitive, cutthroat, and Tahoe is the complete opposite, where everybody's cool, laid back, chilling, And so it gave me a good perspective on like really what are the important things in life, but also it's okay to go be competitive and go want to win. And so that Vegas kind of created that competitiveness in me, and Tahoe kind of showed me really what's important, which is, your family, your health, and those people that are close to you. And so I went to Nevada, Reno in college. For college, I graduated in 2018, and I moved to San Diego with a buddy, and we started a landscaping company together. And that's where I really learned design. I made a ton of mistakes. Like, we were doing the work ourselves. Like, first couple jobs were mowing grass, and then this lady asked us to do pavers, so we started doing that. And then it just kind of snowballed. And then finally we met a guy named Jorge, who's just the most incredible human in San Diego. If you ever need any work in San Diego, JVK Landscaping is his company. Jorge Chimon, he's one of the best landscapers I know. We were basically just kind of leveraging his talents with our ability to market and sell. And so we blew up really fast. Like, I was on the Instagram, my partner was selling a lot. And the biggest mistake we made was the following year was COVID 2020, and we were inside, and we were still deemed whatever it is, essential workers, right? And so we still got to work, which is awesome, but we're inside a lot more, and we started another company, right? And that was a big mistake.
Okay.
The reason is because it is really hard to fill up your cup if you're trying to fill up multiple cups. You only have so much energy and so much focus. I thought that I was so focused as a young guy because I was working all the time, but it actually wasn't focus, right? I needed to really be focusing on one thing. And so we started doing way too much. We ended up, moving to Austin, Texas in 2021 and closing down the business, actually filing a bankruptcy at 24 years old for the landscape company. Just because, honestly, we over leveraged it. We started taking out merchant cash advance loans to try to pay, our employees and grow really quickly. And our goal was to raise all this money and do all this stuff. And I just, it just wasn't who I am. I love what we're doing at Your Haven because everything is bootstrapped. We've only grown through the cash that we've earned through providing value to our customers. We have no credit card, no debt, no nothing. So we moved to Austin. We started flipping houses a little bit. The market changed a little bit, and then I just kind of stepped away and I said, "Hey guys, I need to go figure out something for me. This isn't right for me." And so that summer, I sold solar door to door just to get my sales skills up. And I'm not a huge solar guy, to be honest. I love the idea of the clean energy, but the way that solar's sold is, it's okay. But I learned a ton of great sales skills, so I was super, super happy with that. And in college, I actually sold alarms door to door. So if you're a younger guy and you want to get your sales skills up, go knock doors for a summer. You're going to get your teeth kicked in, but I promise you, you'll come out stronger on the other end. And then January of 2023, so almost 3 years ago, there was a lady who reached out to an old Instagram account that I had that we posted a lot of landscaping content on, and she said, "Hey, I'm in Liberty Hill. Would you help me out with my project?" One of my old partners was running the Instagram account. He texted it to me. He said, "Hey, will you go chat with this lady? And if it works, like, we can maybe plug her with a design and a contractor and maybe make some money." So I went out and met with her. She was like, "Hey, my contractor's telling me this, and this guy's telling me this. Like, what should I do?" And I just said, "Hey, let's start with a design." I was using Structure Studios in the landscape company. That's when I really fell in love with design. Because if we rewind a little bit, when I was 23, I sold a $360,000 project using Structure Studios. So I knew how important design was, just so that because they could see it, right? And fast forward back to then, or 2023, I was like, "Hey, I'll do a design for you for like $500." And she was like, "Okay, cool." I did the design. And then basically, like, her and her husband were like, "Hey, we're way too busy to really do this. Like, will you help us project manage this?" And I was like, "No, I'm not going to do it." And they're like, "Please." I was like, "No, I'm not going to do it." They're like, "Please help us, like, put something together." So I put together an offer. And I called it the Backyard Blueprint. And the offer was essentially, the pitch was, hey, Mr. Customer, these are all the things that you need to make sure you do before construction starts, right? You need to meet your contractor, you need to vet them, you need to get multiple bids, you need to get your materials, you need to get your project timeline, you need to get everything budgeted properly, you need to get architectural and engineering. And I listed out all these things, and I said, I have templates for all this, and you can take it and do it yourself, or you can pay me $20,000 and I'll do it. And they sent me the wire literally that day. And so the following day, I incorporated, I actually have, this is my notebook, I just finished it, which is crazy, but I incorporated the next day, January 21st, 2023, I incorporated Your Haven, right after they sent me that wire. So I was like, all right, let's go,
Yeah. Wow.
And that's kind of the story of how the company started, really, and how I got here.
I love how quick you decided to go from opportunity one off to this is going to be a business. I'm going to build it.
Yeah.
I think like so many people I talk to have so many great ideas and they want to do this and they want to do that, but there's that lack of acting, the massive action that's required to take. I mean, is there anything that you've learned, or how do you go about that where you're like, hey, this is an idea, this works, I'm just going to go incorporate this and build it into a business? Is there any advice that you can give on how to like just take that action?
Yeah, sometimes, what I tell myself, I'm 29 years old, so I'm learning every single day. I'm constantly learning. I'm listening to the podcast every day. I listen to the Founders podcast, Acquired, How I Built This, a bunch of different guys. I'm reading a bunch of different books, so I'm constantly learning. But a lot of actually from the Founders podcast, he's really good. It kind of just puts into perspective that every human out here is just trying things. And the guys who win are the guys who don't quit and just take the action. And you hear it so much. And so I just always think about, hey, there's millions of people before me who have created success in their life, billions. And there will be millions and billions after me who are going to create success in their life. So like, why not me? Why don't I just go for it? And that's something, honestly, I really pride our company on, is that we come up with an idea. We literally execute it the next day, if not the same day. We think of something, we record it, or we put it together on the website or whatever, and then we go after it the next day. And that's pretty much what happened with the pro membership too, which we can get there. But just kind of removing the personal connection to it, and just taking a wider step back and just saying, look, I'm a human on this earth. I really want to create success in my life. I'm just going to go for it. I've already filed the bankruptcy. I've already had those happen, And the biggest thing I learned from there is really that you will win if you're honest with people, if you're disciplined, and you grow through customer service. You put your customers first, you will win. That's kind of what I found.
I completely agree with all of that. I've noticed the most successful companies that I've talked to have customer success or customer experience at the top of their priority list. Mm-hmm. And it may be right above or below the culture and employees. And I think those need to like kind of be married at the top. But the biggest thing that I am taking away from what you said is it's the speed at which you act once you know you have an idea. And in retrospect, it's like, yeah, that was a great idea or that was a shitty idea. But in the moment, you don't know. You're just doing whatever you're doing, and you're trying to make as many decisions as quick as possible that lead you to ultimately whatever your goal is. Mm-hmm. And so as I'm gearing up, I've got in the next few weeks, I'm going to be in Denver, Colorado. I'm going to be talking about speed at a lunch and learn for a group of contractors there. And this is my whole message is like, guys, like when you have an idea in the boardroom or in the meeting room, how quickly can you act on that? Mm-hmm. And I'd love to tell me about the pro membership, because I think that's a very disruptive offer that you're doing to the industry. It's mm-hmm. totally changing the way we look at design and support services. How'd you guys come up with that idea? What is that idea for people that don't know about it? What do you guys offer? And how did you come up with it?
Yeah, so Your Haven's kind of we've tried different offers, we've tried different things, and we finally found one that I think makes sense for all parties and helps the homeowner win, the landscaper or outdoor living expert win, and then us win. And so we are the outdoor living partner, design partner for landscapers, right? So we're basically the design arm for outdoor living contractors, and we provide 3D renders, very high-end realistic renders, 3D video walkthroughs, we provide virtual tours, and we provide 2D construction plans in order to help you sell more, in order to help you provide a better experience to your homeowners so you can get more referrals, because that's the highest quality lead that you can get. And then lastly is execute the job in a more efficient manner and have less change orders because all the decisions are made. So that's really what we've turned into, is we're the arm for landscapers. And how that happened is, honestly, a year and 4 months ago, last June, is when we came up with the pro membership idea. I had just made my first 2 hires. Scott Saunders, our design director, who was doing designs for me at night, and then I finally said, man, this guy is too good. I have to have him. I drove to Texas A&M. I gave him an offer. He said no. I kept asking, and now he's here. And then
Nice.
one of my great friends who Zen Contestable, one of my best friends, he dropped out of college when we were in San Diego to come work for the landscaping company. This guy's believed in me forever, and I believe in him, and he's absolutely crushing it. And so he was my first sales guy. So those were my first 2 hires. In June, we were like, man, how do we really like scale this thing? How do we, we want like a recurring revenue offer. How can we hire more people? And it was really difficult because we would sell like one-off designs to homeowners through contractors. So Zen was cold calling contractors all of the beginning of last year, and then just saying, hey, we can help you win this job. Just pass them to us. We'll sell the design and pass it back to you. And we were charging like 1,500 and then another 1,000 if they won the job or something like that. I forget exactly what the offer was. And the only problem is like, it was still kind of expensive. Not so expensive, but it's just like we weren't tied in with them. We weren't what they were thinking about. We weren't involved like in their daily process. And again, we didn't have any recurring revenue. And so we were like, man, should we make I remember thinking like an app for homeowners where, and then just a bunch of different things. And finally, I forget exactly how the concept came on. I remember actually there was a kind of an investor type guy, acquisition guy, who emailed me and was like, hey, I'll buy your company, one of those guys.
Yeah.
And I got on the call with him, and I knew I didn't want to sell, and I didn't really have much to sell at that point. I mean, but he lives in the Woodlands in Texas, and he was like, hey, have you ever thought about like doing like a recurring offer for contractors, maybe charge them like $500 a month or this or that, and they get X amount of designs. And that was really interesting. So I went back to Scott and Zen, and we started talking a little bit more, and then we were like, okay, let's come up with an idea. We'll call it the pro membership. We'll charge, let's start with like $2,500 a month to get 10 designs, and we'll see how it goes, because I knew if we could get that recurring revenue, we could hire more and then be able to serve more people. And so we just called all the people in our network, and we sold the first one right away to, this guy, Nicholas Zumino. He owns Garden Goat here in Austin.
Nice.
He bid on it right away and was just like, dude, you know what? I'll try it. I believe in you guys. Let's do it. And I think the second design we ever did, he sold for $45,000. And I was like, bang, let's go. And so we just kept working with him. And we found another guy, and our packages just kind of adjusted. But as we kind of scaled that offer and started calling more people, it was much harder to get people to buy a 12-month package at $2,500 a month if we didn't have a relationship with them already.
Got
And
it.
so
Yeah.
I met this guy David with Goat Media. He's actually Tigran Gertz's cousin in Goat Gang.
Yeah.
And there's a funny story there. They actually kicked me out of Goat Gang because I was in their marketing collecting emails. And I was messaging Tigran back. I was like, bro, don't kick me out, please. And then he's like, here, get on a call. And it was David. And he was like, oh, dude, I really like your offer. Like, let's work on it. He had the brilliant idea of what we call the pro trial. So the pro trial is $1997, less than $2,000. You get 4 designs and plan sets We give you a bunch of marketing material, a bunch of branded stuff for you to be able to use to go sell more designs. Because I think selling designs is really the key
Yeah.
in an outdoor living company. And dude, since then, and that was like last December, we've sold 275 pro trials. We're at 36 pro members, and our average pro member pays us about like $3,500 or maybe a little bit less than that, depending on the package. And dude, it's just grown like crazy, man. I mean, we're gonna 5x the revenue that we did last year to this year. We're up to 44 employees, and
Wow.
it's just been a blessing, man. It's amazing.
Dude, you guys are on a rocket ship. So
It is.
5x in
Yeah.
1 year.
Yeah.
That is wild. Now, how many employees did you guys have, last summer when you rolled out this new subscription model?
It's like 5 or 6 around.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. What a story. And now you
Yeah.
guys are mid 40s. That's
Yeah.
so how have you guys been able to scale not just the people but the demand from the contractors? You guys have been ultra successful with this new offer.
hmm
How has that been from a, just overall business management perspective of keeping quality at an all-time high? And you guys are, I can vouch for you guys. You guys are great to work with, and you guys have so much great support, so many great team members. How
Yeah.
have you guys kept that quality at scale when you're growing at 5x a year? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like what we were talking about in the beginning, man. I mean, trust me, there's the highs don't come without the lows, man. So
Totally.
there's been a ton of that where definitely made some mistakes because we're moving quickly. But I think something that has allowed us to maintain the trust of the people we work with when we do make a mistake is just the honesty and the quick communication. Our communication is top notch. Our operations manager, Bailey Estes, I hired him 3, 4, 5 months ago. I forget, honestly, time's been going by so fast.
I
But
bet.
he used to have his own pool company, and he's 28 and has a family. And I was when I first met him, I'm like, man, this guy, I like it because he knows what it's like to run a business. He wants something that he could be a part of to help grow. And when I brought him on, man, he's the game changer, absolute game changer. He handles all the communication with the contractors. He's relaying to our design team. He's just making sure everybody's dialed in. And then along tag that in with Scott, who's one of the best landscape designers ever. He was one of my first hires. He graduated from Texas A&M with a landscape architect degree.
Wow.
So him being able to help teach our designers, Bailey being able to kind of help manage the communication, and then having just Sandra, Bea, Matt, just all our designers are going crazy too. So it's really just about the people, and it's about finding the right people. Part of me wants to subscribe to the philosophy of like, okay, you can only hire A players because as soon as you hire a B player, it takes your whole team down. And I've tried to do that, but we've also been growing fast. So there's the other thought that's like, hire fast, fire faster, which we
Yeah.
haven't done a ton of firing. I don't want to do that. But if they're not the right fit, I mean, it just is what it is. So to answer your question, I mean, it's really about the people and just showing up every day, excited. It's a lot of, our team's working a lot, and I'm really grateful for that. I think the other thing that's really worked well for us is every single person in our company has the opportunity to earn bonuses every single month. And we
Oh,
pay a
that's
lot
huge.
of bonuses. We pay
Yeah.
a lot, you know. We paid $38,000 in bonuses last Friday on payroll
Wow.
day, you know. So, and it's because everybody's incentivized to do that, to go earn it and make it worth it. And I think that's something that a lot of the people I work with are like, wow, I've never had that before. And my CFO is like, bro, what are you doing? Like this, no one does this at your level. Like you need to, and then, I'm not trying to stroke their ego. I'm just saying, man, it's about the people, and they know it.
Yeah, and I think too is like awesome. All that is awesome, and I completely agree. It's the people, and when you have the right people, the right compensation plan is an accelerator to help those
hmm
people be better. I don't
hmm
think if you have a great compensation plan, you have average people, you're going to get great results. You,
hmm
you truly have to have great people to start with, and then it kind of goes from there. And also I've noticed when you have really good top level people and someone's coming from a company that maybe there was not, maybe their A players were compared to like your B players. And when people step onto this treadmill of your company or of K&D as well, it's moving really fast. It's moving faster than they've ever moved. And sometimes that creates an excitement and the people are like, all right, let's go. And then in other cases that creates a little bit of frustration and defensiveness, and they end up getting kind of like, spit out the back end of that treadmill because they weren't able to get up to speed with how fast we are moving.
Totally.
And that's why I think onboarding is like so key for us in our hyper growth years. It's like, I'm sure you guys are really big on trying to get the people integrated. And are you guys are remote, right? You have like a remote team, or are you guys in office?
Everybody's remote. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm living out of my working out of my condo. I have the other room is in the office. So that's Zen's office. We got some people in Canada. We got some people in Vegas, Texas, Nashville, really everywhere. So
that's cool.
Yeah, man, to go along with that, I think it's also expectations too, right? It's like setting the expectations with your people about, hey, and I tell them all, like, this isn't the place for everybody. You don't have to be here. And if you want to go do your own thing too, like if you're inspired, go do it. I'm excited for you. I want that for you. When I had a job when I moved to San Diego. His name's John Krishy. He's amazing. I love him to death. He does all my hats. So if you need a hat, check out 619 Designs or something like that. His main company is called Global Gifting. But I told him I was starting a landscape company, and he was pissed at me, Mo. He was like, "You're an idiot. You're starting a landscape company in San Diego." And I just don't want to be like that. We're still friends to this day, which is great. But yeah, I tell everybody, like, if you want to go do your own thing, I support you. But they know what they get here, right? They're valued. Expectations. Yeah, they're valued. They have an opportunity to make great money, but it comes with a lot of work, And we're not going to shy away from that because of where we're at. If I said, hey, it's not going to be that much work, and then I'm asking you to work like overtime and whatnot, that would suck. But at least they know from the beginning.
Yeah, I always have this thing when I'm hiring people is I try to talk them out of the job, and I'm usually the third interview, and we have like 3 interviews with everybody. So I come in on the third interview, I'm like, hey, look, this is like, I'm going to paint the picture of the hardest day ever at K&D and know that this is what it is. And like, it is, if you are looking for work-life balance, like we're not the company for you. If I value the purpose in life of things outside of work. And I think that's important to have a high value there, but I'm more of a work-life integration mindset where if you need to take your kid to the doctor from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., or you need to go coach soccer from 3 to 6 p.m. every couple days with your kid, like, awesome, do that. But make sure that all your emails are answered by, 8 a.m. tomorrow. And, if you got to take off early on a Friday, like, make sure you get your shit done either before or, log in on Saturday or Sunday and finish that up. So it's like you can have ultimate flexibility, but that comes with a high level of self-accountability. And
big time. I love that.
Yeah, and it's not going to be, I think a lot of people are looking for, how can I make the most money with the least amount of effort? And I think that's like 80% of our society today. Like, they really look at the next job as that paradigm is like, what can I do? And all my friends come to me, I want a passive income, man. Like, how do I create a business with passive income? I'm like, there's no fucking such thing. And I kind of like, dude, no, like, stop thinking like that. Think about like, where can I apply massive action and follow my purpose and follow my passion that will yield to great financial results. But if you start out with trying to make the most money and then reverse engineer that, I feel like most of the time that equation doesn't plan out. And, I feel like most people that I talk to that are successful in business, they didn't start in that specific area because they wanted to make a lot of money. They just did it because it was just what it was at the time. And that was what was put in front of them, and they made greatness out of it. Yeah. And so, I don't know.
I'm not even going to lie. I'm driven by the opportunity that I feel is right in front of us to make a shit ton of money. I really feel that way. but also as we've made more money, as we brought on more people, as I've seen Zen have his biggest years of his entire or months of his entire life, and Scott create amazing designs, and Bailey just crush it. And I brought on one of my great friends, Eddie, who's our head of marketing and systems, and he's incredible. Seeing them thrive in their things and our design team thrive, like that's been actually giving me more fulfillment than anything else. And then seeing like you guys win projects, seeing our contractors win projects, like that's create such great fulfillment for me, that I know that if I can focus on those things, the money will come.
Dude, 100%. The money will come. And I'm with you. Like, our big goals at K&D are all kind of based around monetary goals because it's the easiest to measure. It's really hard to measure, like,
it's the way to measure business.
Yeah,
right?
like
it's
the scoreboard. So
yes.
When I say like we want to create 35 employee millionaires by 2035, like that's a measurement of our success and a measurement of the volume of opportunity that I create for my team and we create as a company.
What a great goal. I love that.
Yeah, our goals are our goals are pretty specific. We want to create 35 millionaires by 2035, and we want to do that by creating a $1 million enterprise value business.
1
and
billion.
Then take it 1 billion.
Yeah, 1 billion.
And take it public in 2035, maybe 2036. The 2036 will be our 50-year anniversary. So I kind of thought that would be pretty cool as a year to like kind of pitch our IPO. And I think the public markets are going to move into more like SaaS and tech, and all this has been kind of like major focus for the S&P 500. I think over the next 10 years, we're going to see a big shift to service-based businesses being more and more integrated within the public market offerings. And so I think plumbing companies, electrical companies, subscription-based companies are going to find their way on to the publicly traded stock exchange. And we want to be the landscaper that takes a company public on a multiple of revenue, not a multiple of EBITDA. And to get there, we have to change the fundamentals of landscaping, which I intend to do. And that leads me into this thing. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about how you're kind of rewriting the rules around landscape design and the process that historically, or I wouldn't even say historically, the process that's currently being played out in 97% of design build companies today. And then what's your process? So I'm interested. You've probably done more market research than anyone on this topic, but what if you could maybe contrast those two processes together of your Haven system and how you partner with contractors versus contractors that are kind of taking the old school, just like design in-house or maybe not even doing design. And I'd love to just kind of get your take on those two processes.
Dude, you know what's funny is I'm actually writing a book right now. I never thought I'd write a book ever. I've had some help from our friend ChatGPT a little bit, just kind of structured it a little bit more, but it's not going to be like that. I'm not trying to become this book guy. I want to actually just create a nice, it could be even a PDF that just kind of explains what we're trying to build and how it can help you grow your outdoor living company. So we call it the design machine. And I think there's a couple stages of an outdoor living company that get hit with bottlenecks or this wall. We call the first wall the $2 million wall, and that's where the outdoor living owner is doing everything. He's selling, he's doing the designs, he's managing the projects, he's doing everything, and he really needs to kind of get to that next level. And so there's kind of two things that happen after that I've seen, and I'm I guess I am a little bit of an expert because I do this every day, but this is just taking from all the people we've worked with, the 300, 400 contractors we've worked with over the last couple of years. This is all learning from them, right? So the second wall that I see is around 3 to 5 million. It kind of varies in different markets, where the owner has now delegated a little bit more, and they've either hired an in-house designer or they've hired salespeople who are designers. The biggest problem with both of those is that if your salespeople are designing, one, the design quality is not going to be fantastic, and they're actually not optimizing their time in sales. They start being stuck on the computer designing all day.
Yep.
And I don't know about you, but for my sales guys, they're on the phone 8 hours a day or messaging 8 hours a day in 4 or 5 meetings minimum a day. We're
Yep. Go
selling,
live.
right? Every day. So that's the one issue I see with starting to, and this is for outdoor living companies who want to do design and build, right? So they hire these sales guys, and then the sales guys are designing, and then they're just kind of taken away. Or maybe they have a sales guy, and then they have an in-house designer. And I like that a lot, and I think it works a lot for a lot of companies. To really scale past that next level, the issues that we've seen is that the in-house designer becomes more of a workhorse than kind of the in-house design manager, where not only are they managing the relationship with the customer and choosing materials and doing layouts and picking plants and all of that, then they have to go draw it. And because they're a designer, the expectations from the owner of the business and really just themselves is to create an amazing design. It's not just a quick little thing. So what we've created is what we call the design machine, where our ideal customer is really somebody who's between that $3 to $5 million range, if not more, but around that range where they want to scale their outdoor living company, but they're kind of stuck in the design phase. They're either behind on their designs or they're not selling enough designs because their in-house designer is kind of bogged down. And so the best process, and this is exactly how we work together, Justin, this is how I work with a ton of guys all over the US, is their in-house designer becomes more of a manager of sorts, where they communicate with the homeowner. They then create a beautiful design brief of everything that they want and see. Because designers are, sometimes they're tough to work with because they're like, no, this is my vision. And that's totally fine, right? We can bring some creativity to the table or we'll follow your vision. It's no problem either way. Our goal is to be the back-end workhorse. So you give us the design brief, you tell us exactly what you want, and then we're drawing in SketchUp, we're rendering in Lumion, we're creating plans in CAD, we're getting you everything that you need so your designer can now go work with multiple people. And we can work on multiple projects at a time. Your designer can only work on one project at a time if they're designing. We can work on multiple because of the way that our business is set up and the way that our design team is set up as well. So that's what we call the design machine. It's basically your one in-house guy, if not multiple. There's a company in Florida. I don't know if I can say their name. We have like a...
Don't worry about it. Don't say their name. Yeah.
But anyways, they're amazing, dude.
Yeah.
15
in the
mil.
Southeast.
They're killing it. 15 mil a year.
Yeah.
And they have 3 or 4 in-house designers that we work with just as their workhorse. And then we're also designing for their sales guys too. So they have an interesting process where they'll get you under contract first, and I think you guys are similar too, right?
Yeah.
So we work on behalf of their designers, but then we'll also do quick stuff for their sales guys for them to go try to like sell stuff quickly. So yeah, man, that's the design machine, and I'm writing a book on it. I don't know when it's going to be done, or a PDF or whatever you want to call it, but
yeah, that's awesome. We'll have to connect on the book. I just finished my manuscript for my book that is coming out at the beginning of next year, and it's
nice.
Dude, it's so fun to write the book, and then the second part's not so much fun, which is the back and forth with the editor, because I'm like, they're so quick, and then I'm looking at their edits, I'm like, God, and it takes like I got to read the whole freaking book again, and but I'm falling in love with the book every time I reread it, and I'm really excited about what that's going to be. It's called Sweat Equity. It's basically a play on private equity and why landscape businesses today are sitting on a gold mine they don't even know about, and they don't need private equity to grow, because private equity leverages businesses by 80% anyway. So it's like you can do your own growth bootstrapped using your own cash.
Absolutely.
Anyway, coming back. I love the process contrast because, yes, right now, and in my community, the Disruptors, we were just talking about this with a group. There's a lot of design build guys in there in that same range. One guy just grew from 2 to 10 million in like 3 years, and like they're ripping, but they are also coming in and hitting some of those walls because of what you said. When you get really good at sales, your design team is gonna become a bottleneck. Yeah. And when you get really good at designs, all of a sudden you slow down on your sales. And so you're constantly either have enough work and your production teams are like totally set up, or you're like selling all this work, but it's stuck between sold and designed, and it's like not shovel ready, as we call it. And I think this boomerang and this back and forth creates a lot of anxiety and stress unnecessarily within the business, and it ultimately leads to poor customer experience because things happen. And then also, if your designer is bogged down with either sales or design, doesn't matter. When your project 70% completed and it's Monday morning and the wife comes out and says, hey, we decided to expand the patio. We want to change all this. Can you get a new drawing over? Boom, now you got to do a quick revision. Well, that designer who's bogged down with all this other stuff, there's a project on the line and a project timeline to keep. So that becomes a priority. And now there's like 6-7 priorities floating around in the morning on Monday. And everyone's trying to get the designer to focus on their thing, whether it's sales or operations or what have you. What you guys have done for K&D, and I'm just speaking my own experience here, is you've relieved us of so many of those bottlenecks. And we knew we had a design bottleneck. I didn't understand, and I don't think Jeremy and I really realized how much of a bottleneck we had around the sales side of the business. And I'm going to give you guys an example. So a few months ago, let's go way back. A year ago, our designer was extremely busy. We had an assistant designer working with her, and people would call in, and she's like, awesome. Look, I'm really busy. I can meet with you in 3 weeks to look at your project, and then we'll talk about design. 3 weeks is an eternity for a client who wants their backyard built next week to wait. Because when clients call us, they don't really realize the need for design. They just want a new backyard patio and an outdoor kitchen built. So now we have to share with them the process and why they need a design. Well, 3 weeks is just you can't do that. And then it would take another month to get the proposal and the presentation done and everything over to them. We're looking at a 2-month process, and I would say our close rate was way under 20% on those sales. Now contrast that with what happened last week, and this literally happened as we're recording this, October 6th. This was 3 days ago. Jeremy had a lead that came in. It was kind of a higher priority lead because the client said their budget was around the $300,000 mark. So immediately, all right, let's go after this one quick. The next day, Jeremy met with this client and walked them through, showed them some of the designs that you guys have done for us in the past, some of the 3D stuff, and said, look, this is what it's going to look like. This is the process. This is what we can do for you. And here's the price of the design. And the client was so appreciative of the clarity of the process, the upfrontness of the design price, and it completely removed the objection of the $300,000 price. And the pitch is, look, let's talk about the $300,000 and make sure we're in the same budget range. We'll design to that. But you don't have to sign a $300,000 contract today. You just need to sign the design contract that's 1% of that. And that's something that who is ready to spend $300,000, for them to spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a design is super easy. And so we're able to get that client to, within 3 days of them calling, a proposal for the design, examples of previous designs, and a DocuSign that they were done, let's go. So contrast that with a year ago that took us 2 months, and then we had to go through the follow-up and try to close them, so call it 3 months to be safe, to literally 3 days. And we have a $300,000 to $350,000 client that is signed up to do the design. And unless we do something really dumb, we that $300,000 is ours. We'd have to really mess that up at this point. So that's what this process looks like at K&D in October of 2025. And it's allowing us to skyrocket our sales, skyrocket our design bandwidth. And also the designs that you guys are doing with Liz now is so much better than what she was doing by herself, because you guys can spend all that time to get all the details right, and she can spend the time making sure that the vision's right and it aligns with the client's budget and everything. And that's ultimately this really awesome success point that I didn't really see until recently, and it's really showing its fruition. It's awesome.
Oh, dude, I love it. And Liz is amazing. And to kind of keep going on the process, so you guys go meet with them, you sell them that design, and then what Liz does is she puts together an incredible design brief with everything she wants. It might take her a couple hours, but it's not taking her multiple days,
Correct.
and then she can go focus on another project or communicating with a customer or whatever. So she'll submit the design brief in our platform. We start designing, we model the property first, then we'll send her the model and make sure everything's good. Then we do the 3D design, and we always do the 3D first because it's much easier to make decisions on the 3D than it
Yeah.
is on the 2D, because so the homeowner can see it.
I
We
like
send
that.
that back, and then whenever you guys give us the go ahead, then we create the plans. And I'm really grateful for you guys because how you've helped us in such an amazing way is the quality of our plans has increased a ton because your expectations are big.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna lie. We're not
They are.
architects.
Yeah.
We're not architects or engineers, but and typically what we provide are square footages, linear footages. They're nice layouts. They look very clean. They look very professional. But how we've progressed after working with you guys is incredible. We're doing isometrics, super in-depth measurements. Liz got us calling out certain bolts and things like that, which is like not a normal thing all the time, but it's the deal that we've created. And I think unless you want to talk about the money, without really getting too deep into the money, if you sell 2 designs a month, you're making money on what on our monthly fee, and that's really what I wanted. But it's because we have that monthly fee and know it's coming in, I can build a team around K&D to serve you guys to the highest possible ability.
Yeah. And so I appreciate all that, and I appreciate what you guys have done because our clientele 5 years ago was $50,000 to $100,000 clients. Today, and this sounds a little bit arrogant here, but like we really don't get that excited unless it's like 250,000 or up.
Yeah.
And we, again, asterisk, we're in Pebble Beach, Atherton, like Silicon Valley. I mean, Nvidia's headquarters is
Have you
45 minutes
played
away
Pebble,
from.
by the way?
Yeah, I'm playing on Sunday actually
Really?
this week. You got to come play it with me.
I might come Sunday, man.
Have you played?
I've never played Pebble.
All
Man.
right. When we're done with this, let's get something on the calendar for something in the next month or two.
Yeah.
We got to get
Anyways,
out there.
yes, you guys are in an amazing area. You're in an incredible area.
Yeah, like maybe arguably one of the best areas in the country, maybe in the world. It's up against pretty much all the West Palm Beach, of course, in Florida is pretty incredible, and Miami. But all that to say, we are now able to focus our client experience into a new level because instead of Liz being backed up with designs, she can take that time, like you were saying, while you guys are working on the design and doing the hard work, quote unquote. She's able to make sure that her communication is above all expectation. And when you compare that to your average landscaper, I mean, there's just no comparison is really what it comes down to. And that's really what we've tried to create. We've tried to create an environment where when we compete with another landscaper for a project, the other landscaper says, "Hey, that's not fair. They can't do that. They can't offer that." And ultimately, that's what we're going for. We're going for this level of disruption where you really can't compare us to another contractor because our offering is so different. Our process is so different. And the biggest element to that, beyond anything for a lot of these high-end clients, is speed.
Yeah.
Speed and communication. If you can do it faster and better, they'll pay more money. You just have to be willing to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, dude, and I feel the same way about us. That's what I want. There is nobody that can compete with us. There's people who are trying, but they're not as focused. They're not as disciplined. They don't want it as bad.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah,
I promise. The culture, the people, it's and I'm here to compete. That's what we're here to do. So I welcome it. Competition's good because it shows that one, you're in a wanted market, right? But when you can stay more disciplined and more excited, and that's where I feel like people fall. And sometimes I feel like that a little bit. I'm like, oh man, do I want to get out of bed? But it's very a rare thing. And I don't let that last for very long because every single day I wake up and it's just time to get after it,
Yeah.
and it's hard to compete with that, truly.
When you do it, it's really hard to compete with that. That's like the Kobe Bryant mindset, right? Like
That's it.
just just get there earlier and work harder than everybody else. Michael
Yeah.
Jordan outwork everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be the best naturally talented basketball player to be the best. You can literally just work harder than everybody else.
That's it, man. Yeah.
So, so I want to ask another thing about this industry that you're looking at, landscape industry that we're both in.
Hmm.
When we look at the industry going forward, and we look at offerings and solutions like the one you're providing, which is taking more, I guess what it's doing is taking a lot of the ambiguity out of our day to day. So as a landscape contractor, we can focus on sales and operation and delivering amazing, beautiful outdoor creations.
Hmm.
Do you see this as a trend that's picking up in other areas of the industry? Do you think that other areas, if there are any, are going to become more specialized in a way where we have, your haven for the design, and then maybe we have another team that's helping us on client communication, or, like a 24/7 hotline or something? I mean, I'm just thinking about, where does this industry go next?
Yeah. Well, the thing I love about landscaping is it's really more about the experience too.
Yeah.
And so that's why I love design, is because, yeah, there's AI tools and this and that and the doom and gloom guys, but the personal touch to a design is just different, and I think for what we're trying to do, uh, it's going to be very difficult to compete in landscaping or outdoor living if you're not providing 3D designs or plans. Honestly, I don't even know how homeowners are able to make their decisions. I don't know how you're even able to estimate the project without the plans, without the 3Ds, and really avoid change orders and have a smooth project without the design stuff, honestly. So I feel like
Yeah.
in where we're going, it's only going to be more of a demand, right? And then it's just who does it better. As far as your other question, I think that's pretty interesting. I think I mean, you see it a lot with marketing, right?
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of marketing companies. And honestly, I don't mind that so much. I think it's just, is the investment in whatever you're making going to bring you more money? Like, are you going to have a better return? That's really
Yeah.
all you need to see. And if not, then see, I'll go figure out another way, you know?
It's got to make
So,
financial sense first.
yeah, I think so.
Well, I
Um,
want to. I think just like the idea of doing designs versus not doing a design at all.
mhm.
And I would say that the vast majority of contractors out there that are doing projects under 100,000 are not doing designs today, and
Yeah.
they just don't have access to it. They're a great contractor. They've grown to that $2 million wall that you explained, and they're just like, they go out, they bid it, they give them a price, and then they build the job. They're on site every day, making
Mm.
sure it's getting built, and they're eating a lot of change orders. And most of these guys don't have a really well ran like financial job costing system where they know what jobs they made money on and what jobs they did not make money on. So I think a lot of times they end up with a lot of scope creep, and some of the
Yeah.
jobs they overbid and they make money, and some of the jobs they underbid and they lose money, but they don't really understand which ones are making, which ones are losing. And so it creates this really challenging market to compete within, because if you're another landscape contractor not doing designs and you do know your numbers, you're almost always going to be higher than everybody else, and it's going to be hard to kind of differentiate. I think what you guys unlock for those people that are in that, growing mode, you unlock this differentiator where you
Yeah.
can go in and provide the design. And like you said, I mean, I think everyone should be charging design fees, and our kind of like design range is anywhere from 3,000 to 15,000 and up, depending on how comprehensive the job is
Hmm.
and how big it is. But I think you could be charging 1,000, 1,500 a design, maybe more or less, whatever your market is. And that alone is such a massive differentiator for someone else who's just bidding the job off, a sheet of paper that they're drawing up, or an iPad that they're kind of sketching on.
Dude, yes. Because you said it earlier, and I say it to everybody that we sell to. because when we partner with a contractor, we also offer like, and we're not any of these sales gurus either. We've just sold a lot of designs, so we kind of know what works. I mean, we still sell to homeowners every once in a while. And so when you're able to get a homeowner to trust you enough that in your first on-site meeting, you get them to pay you $1,500 to do a design for them, they're not going anywhere unless you royally mess it up. And the only way to really mess it up is by not setting good expectations, like over-promising because you're nervous. I see a lot of that. That was me when I was a young guy. Yeah. I was so nervous to make somebody upset. I'm like, yes, it'll be done in 2 weeks, even though I'm like, get back in the car. I'm like, oh no, it's going to take 3. No way. But if I just said 4 and it got done in 3, everyone's happy, right? But I said 2 because I was nervous. So it's the same thing with the design. You set good expectations, but yeah, man, if you, and the best way to do it is using the tools that we give you, because we give you a branded design plan set with your logo on it when you sign up for the trial, where you can show them exactly what it's going to look like and why they need a design. And what we always say is like, ask them this, Mr. Customer, how serious are you about this project? Whether you go with me or not, how serious are you? Because if you're very serious, you need a design. And then we always say for 3 reasons. So you can make all your decisions up front, get an accurate estimate, and then avoid change orders during the project. Whether you go with me or not, this is the best way to move forward. It's only $1,500. Go get your checkbook.
It works literally every
That's
time.
It. And then
every time I've ran that,
have them. Because then they trust you, and they don't want to go talk to 3, 4, 5 other landscapers. That takes so much time and effort, and they don't want to do that. So if they're invested in you financially, now they're locked in, then when we present them the design and this is one other tip that I give always, present the design in person. Do not email the design. Do not email your estimates. You're removing all opportunity to overcome objections and close a deal. So if you're presenting in person the design and the estimate, or if it's just the design the first time, you get some notes back. Then you set the expectation of, hey, next time I come, I'm going to have your revision and I'm going to have an estimate. And then you present in person, their emotions are high, they're excited, boom, slam the deal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Give them an opportunity to sign right there.
Totally.
And I've been on calls where they're like, hey, I kind of want to change this little thing or change that little thing. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. I mean, look, tell you what, like that's adding 45 square feet of pavers. No cost. We won't change the price. And they're like, really? Yeah, no, like this contract is still good. So,
I like that.
So then you're like, making the changes, but you're not changing the contract. And so when you get through that, you're like, look, and it's always about scheduling a lot of times. It's like, hey, like we're meeting with people every day and we're showing these designs to people every day. And every time someone signs, they go on the calendar, period. Like first come, first serve. I don't care how big your job is or who you are, who you know, first come, first serve. That's our trustworthiness that's what we try to stand behind, our reputation. Nice. So boom, you can sign on the spot. And I've done it through Zoom calls. I've done it through phone calls. I've done it through emails. 100% right. In person there's no comparison to any other process. Zoom does not compare to in person at their house. Yeah. Because they feel the emotions of what this could look like. And for anyone who hasn't seen your guys' 3D drawings, I mean, I'm sure you could reach out and get a sample. You can see it on your website. They're moving. Like you see that walkthrough, that video walkthrough of your backyard, and you're like, I see my grandkids in the pool, or I see my buddies over watching the game and cooking pizza in the pizza oven, and you build that visual, and that's when the best moment is to close the deal on the $50, $100, $200, $300,000 project that you're putting in front of them.
Totally. Yeah, I think the last thing on the design, I think why it's so powerful too, is because I don't know about you, but I know for a lot of people we talk to, it's really tough to visualize what's possible, especially like smaller backyards, even bigger backyards too. I mean, just every landscape brings a new opportunity, and you might, if you're a homeowner, you might not really know, even as a contractor, like really what's possible. And so that's what's fun, is that we do this every day. We could be the worst design team ever, but we've been doing this so long that we're going to come up with something cool, right? We just do it every day. So, and then when you show them that and it's unique and it's something different, it's not something that they've seen before, they might even be willing to pay a little bit more money. And not that we're trying to take all their money. We're just trying to show them what the opportunity is, what's possible.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I love about the design too.
And what I agree, and what makes me feel good about what we do is that at the end of the day, we truly are enhancing people's most valuable asset. Most people that we meet with, their biggest investment that they'll make in their entire life is their house. And we have been entrusted to enhance that asset in a way that is extremely unique and valuable. And it's not just for resellability. That's not really what I'm talking about. It's more for usability of the property. You spend all this time at home, and family's more important than anything to people. But every Thanksgiving, where are we going? Well, we're going to, Aunt Lisa's house, or we're going to Grandpa's house, or whatever. Why is it never at our house, Mom? And it's like, oh, well, look at our backyard. You redo their backyard, outdoor kitchen, all this cool stuff. Thanksgiving's, Christmas, everything now comes back home. And I've heard those stories, and clients have sent me those text messages, of like after the holidays, oh my God, we had the best time. Like first time we've hosted Thanksgiving at our house. And, that's,
Nice.
I mean, as I'm talking about, like I'm almost getting emotional just because of, and you guys, I mean, how many designs have you guys completed so far?
Oh, dude, over 1,000 this year. We've
That's
done
cool.
155 last month. That was our biggest month. It was insane. And yeah, dude, that's what I tell our team, right? We're all in a Zoom meeting, and I can see it's towards the end of the month, and everybody's working hard. And and for all of my contractors out there, you can tell this to your guys too. I read this book. It's called "The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down." It's right here. It's written by a Buddhist monk called Hainem Sunim, and he talks about when you get in the day-to-day rut and monotony of just doing the same thing every day. It's really hard. Sometimes you can get in a dark place where you're not really excited, you're not really positive, and it's tough. And what the book talks about is take a deep breath and think about, even in the smallest bit, how your work impacts somebody else. And the reason why I brought this up is because you said, their biggest investment is their house. Well, also, if they're buying a $200,000 landscape, they're going to do that one time in their life, maybe two times. Maybe you find a whale customer and you're going all over, but you're helping these guys who saved all this cash. This is what I tell my guys. I said, think about it. We're helping these contractors who have families and who have employees that they're paying. Our job is to help them sell jobs. Their job is to go help a homeowner who saved all this money for years and years and years and years to do a project one time. That's how significant your work is. And then to see it come to life is just like the most fulfilling thing ever. So that's what I tell my guys on the design side. And I think for our contractors out there, that's something you can tell your team too. If you're ever feeling like maybe they're in a rut, it's like, think about how impactful our work is, truly.
It really is. And it's easy to lose sight of that. Like you said, when you're moving with speed, I appreciate you bringing that up. I think a big part of this too, if we continue that down that kind of mind, that way of thinking, if we keep thinking beyond our customers, we land on our team, on our coworkers and our employees that we work with every day. And I have this massive mission, which is to get to all, like a minimum wage at K&D should be $100,000 a year. Every employee, entry level, doesn't matter. Like after your 90-day period, you're $100,000 a year employee. And
so you do a 90-day period though?
No. That's where we want to be.
Okay.
That's where we want to be. We still, we're pretty much, and it sounds, I hate saying this, but like this is where our industry is. Like a lot of people in our market and others pay their entry level technicians or tradesmen, or other people call laborers, minimum wage, $15 an hour in California, or $15.50, whatever it is. So we've tried to always be 30 to 40% above like the base wage in our market, which usually brings us into like a $20 an hour minimum salary, which translates into maybe $42,000 a year, maybe 45 or 46,000 with overtime. So our goal is to basically double that minimum, but get everyone to 100,000 minimum salary on an annual basis. And we're trying to get there as fast as humanly possible. I actually don't have a date because it's not like a destination. Like we want to be there by 2030. It's like, I want to be there tomorrow. But if we did that, we would probably go bankrupt. So I have to balance the financial, responsibilities of the company being a fiduciary for our shareholders, which is our family. We don't have any outside capital. And then, trying to get as high as possible on the wages. And the partnership that we have with Your Haven and your team, what we've been able to do is we've been able to actually increase the amount of projects coming in. Mm-hmm. And when we can increase the amount of projects coming in, it gives us the ability to increase our efficiency and to pull other levers in the field to say, hey, we did 2 million last quarter. Can we do 3 million this quarter with the same team if we buy more equipment and we do this and we do that? If so, our labor is almost always going to be about 25% of our revenue. Mm-hmm. It's almost always about that. So if our revenue goes from 2 million to 3 million and we don't hire any other people, then theoretically, like, everybody shares in an increase of about $250,000 in a quarter.
It's huge.
And so we can spread that out across our people through bonuses or other means. Now, we haven't quite gotten to that point where we're like, increasing $1 million a quarter with the same amount of people, but that's what we're trying to get to. And the better the design, the more fluid that process, the faster that process provides access for us to then start that job, get that job done faster, aka bank more money, and then transfer that to our employees. And that's ultimately the big mission that drives me more than anyone, is seeing our team buying houses, seeing our team succeed. And I bet that's, that feeling of paying bonuses last Friday was probably a good feeling for you.
Yeah, man, that's every month. This was definitely our biggest month, but we do weekly too. Design of the week, we pay some money. Sometimes I'll put everybody's name on a wheel. I'll spin the wheel, and whoever wins, $1,000, or we give not $1,000 on the wheel. We'll do like 10 spins. Everybody wins 100. Or we'll give away monitors, or all our main designers all have brand new computers. For that efficiency factor, right? Yeah. So that we can go make more money, because we're now faster. We have the best equipment, things like that too. So, yeah, man, seeing the people succeed, seeing your people succeed and your team succeed is very fulfilling.
It's exciting, man. Well, you guys, I'm so glad I had you on the show. It's been great to get to know you better, and also the process that you laid out there. I think a lot of people listening are going to be interested in how they can leverage that to grow their company. For that reason, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you if they want to talk to you directly? Of just like, you've said a lot of pretty awesome stuff on the podcast. How do they get a hold of you? How do they get a hold of your team?
Yeah, Instagram's probably the best way. Our website too, yourhavendesign.com, yourhavendesign.com, and then on Instagram, it's at Your Haven Design. And then my personal Instagram is at Derek Clelan, DerekClelan. I'm pretty active on there. I'm training for a marathon right now, so I've been posting a lot of my times and watch every day when I'm training. So I've had a lot of people hit me up about that. I post a lot of our designs and stuff on there too. So I'm grateful for this opportunity too, man, because I think I want to be one day, hopefully, where you're at right now. And it's great to learn. I'm constantly learning. And so to kind of hear how we've been able to help create some efficiencies with you, and just to hear your process and the things you guys are doing is super helpful for me too, because of course our job, my job is to help make the product the best it can be, so I appreciate you just taking the time. This was hour 13, right? But that went pretty fast. I feel like we're just getting started.
Dude, I know. I was watching the time. I was like, man, I told him 45 minutes. I should probably start wrapping this up. But, we could just Joe Rogan this thing to 3 hours, no problem.
Dude, we
haven't even talked about personal stuff like your marathon.
No, we haven't even got into golf, bro.
I know. Let's go. We didn't talk golf. Oh, man. Yeah. Do you golf a lot? How much, once a week? How often?
Well, now that I'm marathon training, my golf has gone pretty much to zero. So I just get really obsessed with things, and I just lock in hard. I just go to demon mode and just, the running right now, it's like all I think about. I'm like, I want to go run, but I can't. But this summer was the first time I ever shot 72. So I shot 72 at Falcon Head in Austin, and that was freaking an insane day. Yeah. I actually choked the 71 on 18. I made a bogey on 18. I made a bogey on 18. Honestly, I played great. It was really windy off the left. I
Yeah.
just got blocked out, and then I two putted, and I couldn't go after the green because I got blocked out, and I was just like, oh, it was heartbreaking. Because I
Oh,
wanted to say I beat the game, but instead I
yeah.
had to say, I tied the game.
I hit what is expected at par, which is
Exactly. It's not as fun as winning.
no, man. I know I keep working on mine. I played last week and I had a great round one day and not a great round the next day, and it's so humbling how you
It
can
is,
shoot
yeah.
like an 81 and then go out and shoot like a 91,
Big time,
and
dude.
it's like, oh, well, my putting was a little off. I couldn't drain those one putts, and
Yeah. No, I'm
it's
I'm that
yeah.
amateur golfer. I'm typically I'll shoot around like high 70s, low 80s, but then
Yeah.
all day I'll go blow it up 92, 93. I got to play Coeur d'Alene, the resort course when I was in Montana. So I went to Montana, Glacier National Park, Coeur d'Alene, or Missoula, Glacier National Park, and Coeur d'Alene for the week. And I got to play that resort course, and that thing was beautiful, dude. It was awesome.
Nice. Was it pretty high elevation where your drive's ripping pretty far?
Yeah, yeah, not too bad. I think the elevation, I don't want to get it wrong. I want to say
I'll,
2,500, but I think that's way
okay.
wrong, honestly. I think it's more.
Yeah. Like I love playing in Tahoe, man, because like you'll play
Oh, the
up
ball
at
goes
like
so far?
oh, it's yeah. You
Yeah.
played Edgewood before
Yeah,
up
I
there,
have
so yeah.
my uncle's a member there, so I actually got to play
Nice,
that a couple weeks ago. So if you ever want to go play there, I got the plug for you.
dude. I'm in. I'm in. I got my plane. That's like a 45-minute flight for me up to
Let's
Tahoe.
go.
It's awesome,
Amazing.
man. Nothing
Yeah.
better than getting in a plane like first off in the morning, sunrise, go fly somewhere, golf for the day, and fly home.
I've never done that. That sounds insane. That's
It's
sick.
the best vibes. Like you're just, I mean, you can't drink obviously or any of that, but that's all
Yeah.
good. And you
Well, I'm
just
not on the course to drink. People at the
same here.
like some girls will be like, "Oh, let's go drink on the course." I'm like, "What?" Or I've with some friends. I'm like, "Dude, I'm here to win. I'm here to play good. I'm not
I'm
drinking
trying to
out there."
protect that handicap, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'll have a beer
Oh, dude,
after
that's
the
sick.
round.
Yeah, there you
Um,
go.
so yeah, man. Well, and we got to connect. I know we're gonna hopefully link up here in the next week or two and
Yeah,
line something up, whether it's here in another state.
yeah. We'll get her done.
Right on, man. Well, hey, it's been awesome to have you on the podcast. We'll definitely have you back again to check on your growth with 500% year over year. Who knows where you'll be in a year, but I'm sure it'll be somewhere amazing.
Yeah, dude. Appreciate you so much. Thank you.
All right, man. Hey, real quick before I leave, I can't forget this. We always ask someone for their trade secret, every
Mm,
guest, and I got a list of them going. I'm almost to 100.
yeah.
What would be your one piece of advice that we'd end the podcast on for people listening?
Yeah, I'd say just super relevant in my life is um, if you want to win, remove all the distractions and get laser focused on your goals. All you have to do to beat anybody is just be disciplined. Do the same thing over and over again, regardless of how you feel. Remove the emotions.
Yep,
That's all I got. That's
that's
it right there.
that's perfect. That's where we'll leave it. That's a great way to end it. All right,
Let's
Derek.
go.
Appreciate you being on, man.
Thanks, brother.
Hey,